Hello! Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good how the heck are you still awake? I am Zachary, your friendly waypoint in the Vale, and I have my breakfast and my coffee, so I may take some pauses while I imbibe in both. Let's see, what else? Hello, Pixel. Hello, Yaoi Wizard. The old man is coughing in the hallway behind me. Lovely. Beautiful sound to hear in the morning. Yep. Okay. He's gonna do that. Alright. Well. Anyway, good morning. Yes, so we were originally scheduled to play Legends of Akaroth, but make it FF14. Oh, it's a Cassie! Awa! Hello! Good morning, Cassie! So yeah, we were scheduled to play Legends of Akaroth this morning, but Chiki is not feeling up to streaming it, and I also kind of realized after she decided this that I was like, oh, you know what? I'm also not prepared. We're gonna fight bandits. I did not make bandit stat blocks. And it's been a while, and I really should go over the rule book. So whoopsie. But that's okay because she's not feeling up to it anyway. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll go world build. So doing it. Really? You're gonna sit next to me now and do that? Good boy. Alright. I might have to mute for a moment. The old man is having a moment. So yes, let's see. Let's switch over. Okay, so just wanted to make OBS smaller, firstly. Give kind of a recap, especially since I did off stream last night, work out a couple of things regarding the moons. So oh man, excuse me. I still got the sleep stuck in my throat, apparently. Okay, so as a bit of a recap, oh hello. I have a location named Grumbler Cove.
Yaoi_wizard_69 wants to name a lore snippet. Oh boy, I can finally have a location named Grumbler Cove.
Did that show up? Did that show up on the thing? Or was it just really fast? Did I just not see it? I probably just didn't see it. Grumbler Cove. Let's see, I need to make a note of that somewhere. For it later. Grumbler Cove. Alright, cool. We'll come back to this one day. Probably. When I have a place to put Grumbler Cove. Okay, so Oh, I see chat is actually hanging off the screen. How did that happen? There we go. Man, I sure hope it wasn't like that in the last stream. Oh, good morning, London. Grungler Cove, home of the Grungler fish. Yeah, it's the Space Queen. So yeah, I am setting out to create a world setting to play TTRPGs in, such as Fabula Ultima, because it doesn't really come with a setting by design. It comes with, you could get one of 3 different setting books, but they don't like really have settings. It's more like I don't know, like a theme book or something. And I have 2 of those, but doesn't give you like, you know, countries and stuff. You're supposed to make that yourself, and so I am. And my inspiration kind of touchstones for it is going to be isekai anime, where it's kind of fantasy, kind of historical. There's magic, vaguely European, and there's magic. There are gods that have an impact on the world. We haven't yet decided if they are seen frequently in person by mortals or not, but they definitely like will impact mortals' lives and stuff like that. And AFK Journey, for certain reasons I won't mention, but just more of the kind of European, kind of not, kind of fantasy, and then this kind of fantasy art. 2 of these are from the Fabula Ultima rulebook. These are obviously from Ryutama, another TTRPG that's kind of got that JRPG kind of feeling. So this is the stuff that I'm kind of keeping in mind, because usually I do a lot of randomized stuff, but this time I have a vibe in mind. I will be luckiest because I'm going to be buzzing about, but love you, buddy. Tinker away. Yeah, love you too, buddy. Take a bite of my breakfast. It was a big bite of breakfast. One moment. Whew. Have some toasted English muffins with butter and jelly on them. Okay, so it's in the pinned message, but we are using What's My Foundation, of which Cassie is one of the contributors to it. Oh, good morning, Killer. I was just going over the start of everything, so haven't missed much. So this is a world building book that takes you from like the beginning and then kind of works you through it. It's really cool so far. We did cosmology, and for the origin myth, we have the dreamer, where there was infinite nothingness in the beginning, a void of thought held within the dreamer who was alone. Have you lurked for the first bit while I get ready for the day? Yeah, no problem. As the dreamers slept, their dreams created other beings like them, so they were no longer alone. These beings became the gods, and together they created the world, sky, and stars. When the dreamer awoke, they found their dreams were now real, and they decided to roam the lands to experience it for themselves with waking thought. And then for celestial bodies, this is where I got hung up at one point in the last session, but I've worked it out. So we have an Earth-like planet with a similar sun, just because I just want a normal kind of. There's 4 seasons, there's different biomes, so to speak. I kind of want Earth, an Earth-like planet. But it does have 3 moons, because this is fantasy. And while I'm not going to be creating a magic system, I did want to have a couple of sources of magic, or kind of like schools of magic, that you could have a character who does magic. You would have like a source of magic for them. Or like, not so much like a source, but like a school of thought for magic. Ooh, excuse me, I had to really clear my throat. And so, space and the stars, the movement of the stars and celestial bodies, I thought would be kind of a cool aesthetic to incorporate for one such school of magic. And I'm like, well, let's have 3 moons because that's cool. 2 moons? Nah, that's too normal. 3 moons, though. And so the first moon takes approximately 32 days to complete orbit. Moon 2 takes approximately 65 days to orbit. And Moon 3 takes approximately 127 days to complete orbit. So it's in a very rough 1-to-4 ratio. And I did wonder if there was a way to calculate what I was calling eclipses, but what I was actually talking about, because I did a little bit of research into this. What I was actually thinking of was a triple conjunction where all 3 of the moons are aligned. Although I guess it would be more like a triple conjunction where all 3 would be aligned. And it turns out that Jupiter has 3 moons, and they're in a 1-2-4 orbit. However, it's impossible for them to experience a triple conjunction. I can't remember the reason why, but it's impossible. However, there is another system somewhere in the galaxy that it has a dwarf star for a sun, and it has 3 planets. And these 3 planets that orbit the sun are also in a 1-2-4 orbit pattern. And they come to the closest triple conjunction that we know of, I believe, if I remember correctly. You can look it up on Wikipedia and stuff yourself. So I was like, oh, okay, so that's how. So if I could just, kind of model it after this system. So I put my moons in a 1-2-4 kind of orbit. So I calculated kind of like the number of days. I decided that I don't want the months to be that wild, that unusual. I did make it so that it's a shorter year. 1 year is 10 months, and then 1 month is 32 days, and then days are just the normal 24 hours, and hours are 60 minutes. One second, I took another bite of my breakfast. And then I did make note that there is an intriguing neighbor. There's a planet that neighbors it with the ruins of an ancient civilization and technology remnants. This could be a potential adventure where characters could find and reactivate a portal that takes them there. Because I thought that would be kind of neat. It's like a Stargate kind of thing. After that, I moved on to theology. So we got the divine presence. By the way, I forgot to mention at the start, but the Discord community will receive a PDF of all of this compiled. Throw that in there. So you'll get this for free when I'm done, and then you can play it in the world and, you know, make it your own home within, you know, some usage permissions. And then subscribers who hang out in the subscriber channel, which is where this will be posted, will get this obsidian vault. So everything with the folders, this stuff, this will get deleted, this will get deleted. It's not going to include the book, the What's My Foundation book. You will have to purchase that yourself. But all of the note pages, things that might be linked to each other, you would basically have an obsidian vault all ready to go. Another bite of my food. Okay. So yeah, divine presence. We've got a pantheon of gods because I knew that I wanted multiple gods. A nice little host of them. And we came up with 3 types of divine beings. We have the first. When the dreamers slept, they created beings similar to them so that they would not be alone. These were the first, who became the original host of gods. Then there's the second. The first, being few in number, wanted more. They wanted to feel more, wanted more power, or wanted more companionship. Some wanted to play at being mortal, others wanted loyal partnerships. They created new divine beings through several different methods, the primary one being procreation, and these became the second. The third. Beliefs are powerful, and mortal imagination is more vast than any god can fathom despite their powers. If a belief grows amongst a group of people in fervor and strength, it is possible for a divine being to be created. Examples are mountain gods, river goddesses, or even an ascended saint. While the third are looked down upon by the first and second, there have been many occasions where a member of the third has surprised them. I think, too, that probably Magic in the Land probably also had a hand. That in. And then in relation to the dreamer, as a side note, actually, I'm going to change these to header. Knowledge of the dreamer was not spread by the first. Some of them kept the secret as a safety measure, while others wanted to pretend the dreamer never existed in order to keep their position of power. Therefore, only a small handful of mortals have heard of the dreamer. Because the dreamer is wandering around. Some of the gods probably don't want to think about what may happen if the dreamer was to be accidentally slain, if they could even be slain. Maybe it would tear the fabric of reality apart. So there's that, and then some people, some of the gods, get to be head honcho, and they don't want to give that up if the dreamer decided to come back and exert authority. Man, I've been awake for like an hour and a half, and only now am I getting a bunch of like drainage. It's terrible. Alright, so we left off on page 30. And I think now I need to blow my nose because my sinuses are doing things right now. Okay. Okay. Alright. So we were actually on talking about divine presence. I think they're going to be kind of more along the lines of Cosmic Tinkerer. The gods, or like, because there's quite a few, I think some of them are going to have a mixture of different, like, presences. Like, the gods take an active interest in the progress of life, and over time gave it a nudge to push it in the preferred direction, perhaps with a particular end goal in mind. So I think some of them would have that kind of direct impact, or at least in the very beginning, probably. Because they did help the dream, like the first did help the dreamer create the world. Alright. So the first helped create the world and mortals alongside the dreamer. After the dreamer awakened and began their journey, the first continued to push the mortal realm according to their desires. Eventually, their active hand in it withdrew, being mostly content to watch the domino effect continue throughout the short but entertaining mortal lives. Across the entire pantheon, from first to third, the level of active influence and impact on mortals varies. Some act as devoted beings of worship to those who raise churches and prayers to them, while others remain aloof and are more bothered with their own personal machinations. Others are completely indifferent to both their fellow divinity and the mortals altogether. A select few will roam amongst mortals themselves, interfering when they feel like it, and not always to benefit mortals. So I feel like that follows the vibe that I wanted to aim for. I'm eating some breakfast while I read over this next part. Alright, so this table talks about what are the gods? Like, are they just advanced beings who tapped into primal magical powers? Or like, are they abstract forces that are unfathomable? That kind of thing. Since I already had like a pretty solid idea of what I wanted these gods to be like, I am thinking that they are, for the most part, a product of belief. Gods are formed as the magical product of people's belief and empowered by the faith of those who follow them. They compete for believers in a cutthroat divine marketplace. And so like that would kind of track like the third level of the pantheon are like born out of mortal belief. And you could say that the second was born out of divine belief. That like born out of the belief of the first. And then the first were born from the dreamer's belief. So I think that yeah, they basically are, all of them are product of belief. Which is pretty cool. They all get tied together. Also, there's 3 different hosts, which is like very coincidental for 3 different moons. Gotta go get ready, have a good stream, and good morning. Yeah, you too, London, have a good stream. I need to finish your household VOD. I got maybe an hour into it. Maybe less than an hour. Maybe more like a half hour. Oh, I just took a big sip of coffee and it tastes so good. It'll be there, yeah. I know it'll be there, but what's not there is my butt in the chair listening and watching it. Okay. All divine beings are a product of belief. The third the third host was born from mortals' belief, combined with magic over time. The second was born from the belief of the first, who wanted others like them. The first host was born from the belief of the dreamer, who no longer wanted to be alone. Belief empowers divinity. Without it, they fade into nothingness. In this way, divinity is not equivalent to immortality. And I was thinking about, like, well, can you kill a god, like, through, a sword in the chest or something like that? And I don't know, I think I might hold on that thought, because I think in some games you could, like, the video game JRPGs, you can kill a god in one or two of them, or at least come very close to it, to the point where you can either seal them away or they just simply get reborn as, a new baby that might grow up to be good. But I don't know. That might be thinking too far ahead. as like more potential adventures or something. Alright, so now we have the Pantheon system table, which I think I kind of already worked out. And I was mostly just needing to decide if each one kind of represents a particular domain. So perhaps I can't quite figure out if I'm gonna, like, if this is meant to be more of a franchised pantheon, where there are multiple gods, each representing a particular domain such as wind, wine, or war. All thunder gods are aspects of a single divine force of thunder manifest in a physical form. Or if it's more like a polytheistic rivalry, where there are multiple pantheons of true gods, each of which created parts of the world. Their relationship to the origin of the entire universe is unclear, but they may have fractured from the souls of the original creators. I'm thinking, because there's quite a few divine beings. Sorry, I didn't finish my thought. There's quite a few divine beings, and like eventually you would kind of run out of domains. So it might be that, like, obviously if there's like a god of water or something, like domain of water, and if a river goddess came into being, then surely she would fall under the domain of water. So maybe similar to how we have like top level gods and then lower level gods, maybe there are top level domains and then lower level domains. Kind of like a hierarchy. I always misspell this word. Dominions. Man, I keep having to clear my throat. I know I slept pretty hard. I must have been snoring. Okay, so divine hierarchy and dominions. The power structure is as follows. The first, they are overseers of top-level domains representing the elements. This means, too, that there's probably just these six. There's six, yeah? Yeah, that's six. Just these six members of the first. And then the second host would be larger, and then the third could be potentially even larger. So yeah, the first we got fire, water, nature, air, life, death. So, you know, kind of the key elements. I started out with earth, but decided to change it to nature to kind of envelop, make it more clear that it includes animals, plants, not just like rock. And also, this is not earth anyway, so you wouldn't really be able to say like earth. Life, death. Then we got the second, who are overseers of broad emotional concepts, such as love and fertility, knowledge, war and pride, wealth. So this would be, you know, your god of war would be a member of the second, and the god of war may have been created through the power of the god of fire, or something like that. And then the third are overseers of individual features, peoples, or objects, such as a mountain, a river, an ascended saint, a specific region's harvest, an animal that has absorbed magic and belief and protects its forest home. Right. The third and second divinity usually falls under third and second divinity usually fall under one of the domains of the first. However, this does not always mean that a member of the third will answer to the first. The second are more likely to respect the god of their domain, but power struggles exist between all three hosts and within their own. So this kind of leaves it open, I feel, to some divine politics, I think. Which would be cool because say you have two characters and both of them are sworn to a divine being, and then you know, perhaps their divine beings, their gods are rivals. I'm gonna eat a little bit more of my breakfast while I read ahead. I was muted. Okay, so now we're moving on to Arcana. And now the exact workings of magic I'm going to leave up in the air. Because that is going to come down to whichever game system is being played in this world. So for example, Fabula Ultima. Let's see, how does magic work in here? Because I haven't gotten that far. Let me flip open to a character. Let's see, so the Arcanist. Like, I don't know if they have actual, like, spells. I think they just have skills from the way it looks like. Let's just go find that. And Yeah, I think you just get skills, it looks like. Not like... Oh, wait. The Intrepus has spells. Okay. Yeah, so you know, like, there's spells in this book. Legends of Akaroth has spells. But between the two games, the way magic is mechanically used in the game is going to be different. Like Legends of Akaroth, you can use spells in a duel or battle cast. The different AoEs are kind of different. In the game, a lot of the magic comes from your god stat, or like it it assumes that your magic stat is going to be your god's stat, so it's going to, you know, kind of have divine flavor. Some of the spells and stuff have references to divinity in Akaroth. Hey, shush, shush, shush. Old man is yelling in the hallway. He had his breakfast. I know he did. So yeah, I wanted to leave it kind of vague so that you didn't have to worry about reskinning or reflavoring anything specific for like how magic actually functions. You know, like you don't have to worry like, oh, the magic system in here is, you know, it uses runes or something. That was very distracting. I really do must have some kind of like auditory thing. Because like if I have too many sounds in my head at once, including my own voice, my brain gets overloaded. And all of a sudden I cannot think. But yeah, so yeah, leaving the actual like specific of how magic works vague so that you can plug a game system into it more easily. We can still decide some things though. So here we got magical origins. Let's see, what am I gonna have? Magical origins. Oh, it's just that. Okay. And then there's this section about what fights against it. And some other questions. Cheeky is wrangling the old man. Okay, so in my inspirations, most of these have magic. Like, pretty, like, this has magic in it. This world has magic. This anime does. This one too. This one I can't remember. I think there is a bit of magic, but it might be divine given. So, like, maybe only priest or something. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read it. This one has magic, but it appears that only saints could use magic. And the saints are just a few ladies. They're all ladies. because that's just how that series wanted to roll with it. I think in this one, magic could potentially be accessed by anybody, I think. Not quite sure, but I think it needs a lot of skill and training in order to actually perform it without blowing yourself up. So there is magic, but magic is dangerous and not used by most everyday people. An AFK journey, I can't really remember if it ever said, like, I didn't get too far in that game, and I can't really remember if it ever says or references how prevalent magic is in common people's lives. I want to say no, because the main character, which is who you play as, of course, you're the main character. You're like a magister, someone. Let's see, I think you were kind of like a professor or something. It's all kind of secretive because you're like some powerful. You're the powerful magister Merlin, but you're pretending that you're not. You're kind of disguised. And you have some amnesia too on top of that. All this is to say, is the magic in this world globally accessible? Is it inherited, learned? It's probably not gifted, because I believe gifted refers to being gifted by some force like divinity. And I think that could be the case in some instances. Because I think it would be fun if divine beings could grant a measure of power to mortals in the way of, like, magic. Like, using magic as the channel for granting this power, granting a blessing. I almost, because, like, there's also some appeal to inherited as well. And learned. I think I'm going to take a bio break and then I'll come back, and I think I might have a more concrete idea because it is forming. It is forming in my noggin. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and yes, I have a more concrete idea. Let's see. Alright, so far, every mortal, being a tiny piece of the dreamer, has a capacity for magic. This capacity varies from person to person and can be affected by lineage. The ability to access this reserve of magical energy also varies from person to person. Some people are unable to feel it at all, while others feel like they could reach within and touch it anytime they chose. Right, so this ability to access magical energy, call it mana if you like, can be trained as a skill. A mentor or school for magic can assist with this, but how much magic you can perform and how well it can be used still depends on mana capacity and senses. Hey, back from my shower, how is it going? I'm on magic! I have made it to magic, although magic I'm going to kind of vaguely touch on because the actual mechanics of magic are going to depend on what game system you're playing. Like in my case, the first game, well, actually more like the second game I would want to play in this world would be Fabula Ultima. And so, you know, it has its own spells and whatnot. But, so I probably won't. Yeah, we accounted for that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was kind of getting the feeling because I was scrolling and I'm like, oh, that was much shorter than I thought. So that's cool. Yeah, this book has been very awesome. Everybody should definitely check this out. Yeah, so I kind of combined, let's see, scroll up here. I kind of combined global with inherited and learned, and then I was going to get into gifted. So basically all of these. Yes, TTRPG focus, so we def acknowledged that we couldn't really do granular arcana and had to make it more a scaffolding. Yeah, very cool. Alright, and then divine beings, being made through magic and belief, are able to grant mortals a temporary surge of magical power by way of blessings. A person with limited capacity and or limited skill in accessing magic can experience a boost if a divine being is strong enough to grant them a blessing. Effects and duration depends on the situation. Alright. So yeah, and then that kind of aligns with my inspirations, makes sense for the types of like adventures I would like to play in this world, leaves room for different TTRPG systems. And then there was this table. Let's see. What, if anything, prevents someone with magical powers from doing whatever they want as often as they want, for as long as they want? For every world with magical, supernatural, divine, or even super heroic powers, there comes an innate set of limitations. Some of them are solid walls, forcefully and permanently denying attempts to even attempt something deemed beyond the scope of the universe's capabilities, or the author's predetermined rules of how things work. Other limitations are better seen as restrictions. Technically, there are ways of circumventing the limit if one is willing to violate laws, decrees, or the natural order of the world. And finally, there are more tangible, intrinsic, personal limitations for each individual. Once again, this is more restrictive in nature and can be overcome through various means. Each listed aspect is presented as another facet that fights against magic. In its base form, magic can be chaotic, unruly, and destructive. It's only natural that the world and its people have developed barriers to mitigate the uninhibited spread. So yeah, so if everyone's got magic, what prevents magic from making an absolute mess of everything? Let's see. What should I? So we got natural law fights against it, divine law fights against it, social law, physiology, mental capabilities, resources, innovation, hierarchies. Oh, I am unslumping. The slumping was not that bad, but I was a little slouched. And I will stretch. Thank you, killer. Oh. I should make this alert bigger. It's actually a little hard for me to see. There we go. Okay. Stretching. I'm gonna stretch my wrist. Oh, drink some coffee. Oh.
Killer Flame wants to name a lore snippet. The minimize button, top right, is named Alejandro.
You know, you could name an actual piece of lore. Yowie Wizard earlier named Grungler Cove, home of the Grungler fish. I have squirreled this away for later use. Zach, I have never named actual lore. I mean, I think no, you kind of did. You named something in our raft game. What was it? I think a torch or something. I think naming various objects on a raft is definitely something that I would do. So I consider that as being like lore. As like, you know, our characters, you know, we're just alone on a raft in the middle of an endless ocean with no other people. And, you know, that leads to naming objects. So I count that as part of the lore. I don't know if Alejandro is gonna get much use though. Because if I minimize obsidian, the whole thing goes away. I suppose, but I've also named a text box, a color picker, and now a minimize button. Indeed. You know what? I got one for you. What if... I can't get too specific with magic stuff because, again, that kind of depends on... Alejandro stands resolute, ready to perform his task. To perform the task that he'll never get to perform. But he's ready. Should the time arise. No, let's just go back to... Okay, so yeah, what fights against magic? I could do something else if you don't want the minimize button to be hit. It just feels like a waste. Like I actively have to remember not to minimize the window. so, so the poor thing's not even gonna get clicked on. So the I'm gonna drink the rest of my coffee. He won't be clicked, but he'll always be on screen. Oh yeah, it is on screen, ain't it? The microphone kind of blocks that portion of OBS. There you go. Alejandro, ready to minimize. Alright, so I'm thinking that perhaps a combination of natural law and then physiology, perhaps also mental. And perhaps a touch of hierarchies. Okay, there we go. That was a lot. The limitations of magic. Various factors limit the usage of magic, and these are what prevent the world from being a chaotic mess or devastated by magic. Natural law. Things like physics, gravity, etc. impact what magic can accomplish. For example, turning water into wine may be achievable if you have some grapes on hand, but turning a rock into a living, breathing person would be impossible. Divine law. The egos of the divinity do not often allow any singular person to accumulate enough magical power to stand on their level, let alone destroy the world with it. That said, there have been some instances where they've allowed civilizations to reap what they sowed if they flew too close to the sun. And, like, that is to kind of differentiate the ability for a person to become one of the third host. Because in order to become a member of the third host, you would need a combination of both magic and belief, and it would probably take a good deal of time. So you can't just become a god if you have a lot of magic power. You would need belief that comes from elsewhere. Because, like, you could believe in yourself, I'm sure, but I don't think that would be enough to turn you into a divine being. You would need stronger belief power. As a mortal, anyway. Also, too, the capacities for magic are probably not near the capacity of, like, the first and second host. Good call. Yeah. Yeah, so, like, you could still have a person who can ascend to godhood, but you're not going to be able to do that by yourself. And there might have been some people who have tried to become a god just by sheer magical power or some other means, and yeah, the egos of the divinity, they're not, nah, you're just a mere person. No way, you're not one of us. But again, they have also just simply let stuff backfire, and that is how we will wind up with ruins of civilizations. And, you know, like, oh yes, this ancient civilization brought itself to the brink of destruction, nearly destroyed the world because of their hubris, that kind of thing. And then that goes on next to social law. To avoid repeating mistakes from history, there are laws in place in most societies to prevent the practice of evil magic, like necromancy or dabbling in experimentation on unwilling living subjects. Physiology and mental capabilities. Magic is an exertion of both the body and mind. Both can be trained, and the natural talent for both varies from person to person, kind of aligning with our origin of magic. But big magic uses big energy, so casters must be mindful of their own ability. So if you wanted to make a rock fly through the air, okay, cool, you know, kind of like a pebble. But if you wanted to make an entire island lift out of the ocean into the air, that is going to be much, 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 much harder, probably impossible for a single person. Because that could probably kill you. And then for hierarchies, while the use of magic can be trained as a skill, this knowledge is gate-kept by those who teach it. If you can't find a mentor willing to train you for free, you would need to purchase expensive tomes to self-learn or spend time and money at magical academies. Those born to wealthier families, or families with strong magic lineages, have an easier time in developing their magic than a simple farmer. So yeah, I kind of took across several things across here. I think the only thing I didn't really get into was resource restrictions, which might get influenced by magic systems in different game books. It's not really, well, I mean, actually my one novel series that I was working on, in a way, had magic as a resource. Where the magic in that series is sort of like elemental magic that can be accessed externally unless you're a mage. And mages are born with a, what did I call it? A mage stone, I think. Basically a gem. They're born with a gem, and that gem is what houses the magical energy for a particular element, and that is how they access it. But that can also run out. It can be refilled. But otherwise, the other people who are just called magicians, they have to use similar gemstones, but they're embedded in stuff like staffs and stuff like that. The downside is that if the mage stone on a mage runs out of magical energy, that is tied to their life force, and they could die. So they do have to be careful of how much magic that they use, even though they can freely tap into it. It also prevents them from using any other kind of magic. They can only use the type of their mage stone, whereas anybody else could use any type of element, as long as they kind of had like an affinity for it. I'm gonna do another little stretch. Ugh. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Some questions to ponder. Consider these questions as you refine your setting. Culture and society. How does the average person view magic? Is it sacred, dangerous, mundane, or a necessary tool? Ooh, so this... these are all such good questions. I sort of want to dig into these, but I'm not sure if I want to do that on stream. I didn't really think about how much of this I was going to stream. Like, did I want to stream every little bit of it, or was I cool with doing some parts off stream? Obviously, last night I updated the moons. Oh, I got distracted by a Discord message. Oh, that is hilarious. Okay, sorry. I got distracted. It's very easy to capture my attention with a ping. Because I'll see that number 1 on the taskbar, and I'll be like, I must get rid of the 1. I must get rid of the 1. Okay. Yeah. Because like I could sit here and tinker through these, but we're kind of doing the top level stuff, so maybe I'll come back. Because at the same time, if I wanted to just stream, if I wanted to make everything on stream, that's gonna be a lot of streaming. It might be, I might get this done a bit quicker if I did do some of it off stream. But okay, so we are going, let's see, so we got origin of the world. So we got like geography and stuff. Woohoo. Looks like we're going to be talking about the tangible and the, excuse me, intangible. Okay, so we get to talk about the landscape of your world. Land masses are considered a starting point for developing the biomes, land formations, and bodies of water on your world. Use one or more of them, either rolling or choosing from the table. I think it's probably just going to be continents and maybe continents and islands. Like the focus would probably be on one continent. Kind of like how in some games you start off on one continent and then you can work up towards visiting others, kind of like in Final Fantasy XIV. You start out in Eorzea, and then later you get to go to the New World continent and the whatever continent Othard is on, the Eastern continent. With some islands. Roll 2d6 to determine the total number. For continents, take the number. When selecting the number of islands in an archipelago, multiply the result by 5. Oh, when choosing additional islands to go with your continents, roll 1d6. Okay, so I don't have a dice roller in this video. Get my dice tray. Okay, so number of continents, 2d6. Which I think I just add together. 9 continents. Wow, that's quite high. 9 continents, good lordy. Then I would have to imagine that they're not that large. Trying to visualize this in my head. Let me roll 4 islands. 4. So kind of like 4 large islands. Maybe I could do 5 continents and then 4 large islands, and then there's like maybe a couple of smaller, medium, noteworthy islands. Important note, vast land masses allow for more continuous overland travel, enabling creatures of all sorts to spread far and wide. This results in more species having fewer common ancestors, but more genetic cousins worldwide. When smaller continents exist, there are more markers of greater biodiversity within regions, as you begin to find subspecies of both flora and fauna existing only in specific locations. This is particularly prevalent on islands. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Because in a bunch of like JRPGs and stuff, and even sometimes the isekai anime kind of series too, you'll see and they mentioned this in Fabula Ultima too, where you'll have, let's see, let me find the actual thing, because the way they put it was very was a good way of describing it. A fantastical, diverse world. When creating your setting, you shouldn't concern yourself with realism, verisimilitude, or historical accuracy. A city-state inspired by ancient Greece might be bordering with a flying fortress, guarded by warriors clad in Song Dynasty-style armor, and practicing a form of alchemy similar to that of the Italian Renaissance. What really matters is for each location's appearance to reflect the themes and emotions it will embody within your story. So kind of like that kind of vibe I wanted to accomplish, where you could be in one nation that is like, we'll say Greek influenced or something. Like the maybe there's a coast and it looks very Greek in structure and stuff. But if you went to the neighboring country, you know, maybe they are more like still on the coast, but more like Southeast Asian inspired or something like that. That kind of thing. And then perhaps, you know, there's like a desert. Gotta have a desert somewhere. So some diversity. I am skimming through this part. Hmm. So I guess what I could do is, yeah, start with one continent and be like, okay, this is the continent that you would probably play on. I'm like, I can feel myself slipping into deep thinking. Let's see. I'm thinking about how I want to approach this. Oh, you know what? I need to get my second cup of coffee. That's what it is. That's what I need. That'll help me, surely. Let's see. Oh, also, hmm, where's the... Flipping at the Fabulous Ultimate book again. I wanted to check something. Okay, so I did kind of answer that question. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my second cup of coffee, and then I think I'm gonna figure out how to approach this. Because I was thinking about just staying in a zoomed out lens, but this is like we're gonna start driving in deep. And now I'm not even sure if I would cover ecology. Oh, I got a yawn. Oh, excuse me. Interesting. Yeah. Alright. I'll be back. I'm gonna go get my coffee. Okay, I am back with my second cup of coffee. Woohoo! Alright, I thought I clicked that away. Let's see. I think now I am gonna open up Clip Studio Paint. I will kind of sketch out the world map, kinda. I feel like I have a lot to think about. Good stuff. Good stuff to think about. Let's see. How? No, that's not done. I guess. Oh, I should relocate the chat window so I can still see it. There we go. I'm actually starting to feel like really tired, so I may not stream for too much longer. But let me at least get a handle on this map. Alright. Got our outline. Cool. Alright, so we have five continents and 4 large islands that are considered noteworthy. I would think that at least 3 of the continents would need to be within a good distance of each other. And then perhaps 2 of them are a little further away. Same with the islands. Let's see. Maybe I will throw some dice and use their placement. Okay, so I've got 5d6. Those are going to be my continents, and then I got 4 d20s. Those are going to be my islands. And I'm going to throw these into my dice tray and let that inform the positioning. Alright, so I did get a bit of a spread that is sort of a line shaped. And then I'm just gonna make some adjustments based on logic. Okay. So I've got... So I got a continent here. Another continent here. This one is an island. This is an island. Whoop. Then I've got continent. These 2 are probably just about like they're connected, but there's still like some kind of, you know, continental divide here. There's a 3rd one. And then there is large island and another large island. So the bulk of the adventures would probably take place in this region. And this continent is not too far from these 2. So these 3 probably trade a lot. As well as with these islands here. This island here would probably be a hot spot for trade, because you would this side here, or like at least this region here. Oh, oops, I edited the mask layer by accident. So this region here would use this as a stopping point to get here. And then vice versa, of course. And then this side would also use this. And then obviously, because, you know, this is actually a globe, these sides here would come around and trade with this continent. But also use these two here as stopovers for this area. So I believe this would work pretty well for what I was aiming for. And then maybe perhaps maybe these ones are a bit, this one over here is a bit smaller. Or something. Like these, perhaps these two continents are a bit smaller than this cluster over here. This does remind me too that I also have I have a TTRPG that is map making, a solo TTRPG that is map making. What is that called? What was it called? Did I not download it? Oh, I must have. Oh, that's right. I think I printed it off my phone. Oh no, I didn't put it in my games folder. I put it in my Game Master Resources folder. It is called Cartographer. Oh, did I move it? Where'd it go? Oh no. Oh, I see. Where did I buy this from? I think it might have been Drive-Thru RPG. Oh. Cartograph. Atlas Edition. For some reason, I named the folder Cartographer, but it is not. Oh, I guess it's not watermarked. Okay. Well, anyway, find more of my work. Oh, maybe I got it off of Itch. Well, I can link this at least. Yeah, so this is a solo TTRPG where you make a map and you can do you discover where landmarks are, like rivers and features, by rolling dice. You have an explorer going, making all of these maps and stuff, and the explorer themselves will have like a bit of an adventure. So like you can meet people and let's see, what's something that could happen. Like you can take wounds, you have a reputation, that kind of thing. Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah, I can't remember specifically how I obtained the digital version. But that is something else I could utilize for defining the features and stuff. I have a bunch of little tools and toys. I could use them like tools, but they're also toys. But I've got my rough map of the globe, more or less now. But I may have to end the stream soon because I'm feeling extremely sluggish all of a sudden. And like I want to keep thinking and stuff, but doing it on stream is getting a bit tiring. Not because of you guys or anything, just I have to keep talking. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like physically getting tired. And my throat kind of starting to hurt a bit. Probably because I kept like coughing up stuff earlier. The best tools feel like toys. Yeah. I have so many. They're so much fun. There's a lot of variety. So I'm probably gonna keep doing stuff, but I think I am gonna do some stuff off stream. Just because there's a lot of questions that I could think and ponder over. So she said, I totally understand. Play a game like starting to relax your brain for a bit. Yeah, no. Yeah, I did start a solo archipelago game last night. I booted up my solo Stardew game and discovered that I left off on that game on the same exact day of the co-op game with Cheeky. The day before the Egg Festival. And I was like, am I really about to do everything that I just did earlier today? But in a different file? And then Killer was sitting in a voice chat playing his solo archipelago, and I was like, Killer, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make a solo archipelago game. And I did, and I booted it up. And the doors are randomized, and I'm like, oh yes, this feels right. I don't know where my museum is, and that feels beautiful. So I probably am gonna play Stardew later. I need to get this week's blog post done though. For my 2026 world building challenge, where I do a world building blog post of some kind once a week. I have not missed a single week. I'm very proud of myself. And that was because I wanted to use all these tools and stuff that I have collected. So today's blog post might involve some things for this world. I'm pretty sure. I am excited though. Sounds like a fun challenge. Yeah, it is. I knew doing a daily thing was going to be way too much for me. And at first I was like, well, what about videos? Because at the time I was like, well, what if I do more videos or something? But then I have to edit it or edit, and I'm not that good like speaking for video. But I'm not good with video format. Do a blog. Love blogs. Blogs are great. We should do videos. I can read blogs faster than watching a 5. And it's much easier to return to a certain point with Control F and stuff. My blog is kind of broken, but I'm going to be migrating my website in the near-ish future. So the navigation of my blog is actually kind of busted. That's gonna get an overhaul at some point, so stay tuned. You could always do a voice after you record your video, but that's more editing. Yeah. Sorry, I got briefly mesmerized by my own overlay video of the space. Yeah, I kind of noticed when I looked at it. Yeah. Yeah, I am sorry about that. I don't know how it got broken or how to fix it. It's something with the CMS I'm using, I think. But when I migrate, I'm not going to be using the CMS anymore. It's going to be a static website with some stuff to repeat some things. Join the site you mentioned you're migrating to. Is setting up a blog type as well. Yeah, yeah. NecoWeb is pretty cool. Um, I just don't have this website hosted on that yet because I wanted blog comments, and like there's a whole thing you could do with Google Forms to make that happen, but it's kind of clunky. It's annoying because you have to do it. You have to set it up each time, and it's a real pain. So I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. So I looked around for some free open source CMS tools that was not WordPress, because fuck WordPress. I'm done with WordPress. Ignore the fact that I just got handed access to a WordPress site for work, but I don't have to build it. I'm just maintaining certain product information on it. But damn it. Fucking WordPress. So bloated, and they've shoved AI into everything, and God, it's such a bloated dinosaur. And everybody uses it. We also use Drupal too, but like Drupal is also not what I was wanting to use for a blog. I'm also not impressed with Drupal. So yeah, I'm using something else called VVVEB. I would rather build my own. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then like so far, like VVVEB, I don't know, I would say Web. It's pretty neat. The developer is fairly responsive on GitHub, has helped me a few times with some stuff that I broke or he broke. Guy was responding to me during Christmas week, which was like a true champ. But it is a bit clunky in some spots. Like I don't know, and I don't know how to migrate it to the other site host that I was going to migrate to. Like I got it working, and then I think I would just have to import everything again. But anyway, yeah, I'm just back to simple stuff. And now NecoWeb is going to be having it's going to have comment widgets, and I'm like, please comment widgets, because that's what I want for a blog. Blogs to me need comments, because without comments, I just feel like it's not really a blog. It's more like a newspaper or a newsletter where it's one-sided information. You don't get feedback from the readers. You just throw it out there and that's it. Not a blog, a diary. Yeah. To my knowledge, I have not gotten a single comment on my blog, but that's okay, because I know that they're there. They could be there. And that's what I want. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it. Gosh, I could really go for a nap. I really should not take a nap, but I really want a nap. Maybe I'll lay down for like a half hour or something. I just feel like I've just suddenly crashed really hard. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Like I said, I'm probably gonna work a little bit on this off stream, just so that I can get it into a shareable state. Lots of thinking. Yeah, the questions. Let's see. Where'd OBS go? Yeah, the questions posed up here in the magic section. About like ethics and philosophy regarding magic and stuff. Like what should or should not be done with magic. That kind of stuff. I would love to sink into that and think. Think. Tinker, tinker, tinker. And then maybe I'll publish a snippet of that on the blog. Cassie and Anthony did a very good job on getting the thinking questions there to help. Yes. Excellent stuff. Like, the book is fantastic. Yeah, I kind of feel, I won't read anybody this morning. I'm just kind of, I need to use the bathroom again. Yep, get your fishes in, get your check-ins in, and then we shall head out. For today, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend. Unless you're on the other side of the planet, in which case your weekend's probably already over. A pike! Got a pike. Let's see, I don't have my schedule ready. I need to talk to a certain bear and see if we can get a date for a certain collab. And what I do for the rest of the week is going to hinge on that date. But we should be doing Loa Legends of Zakkariiart, but make it FF14. We should be doing that next Sunday. We were just a little underprepared and underpowered for it today. Which now I'm glad we definitely decided not to do it because poot. Yeah, it will be fun. Just need to coordinate a date. We'll keep y'all tuned. More art will also probably happen, because I need to get Killer's commission finished, and I may work on it today, but it won't be finished today, that's for sure. So, yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Stay tuned for the schedule. And yeah, bye bye, safe travels through the veil. Toodles.